Mitnick's hacking was not about brute strength and coding, it was rooted in cleverness and finding weaknesses in both technology and people. Here's a simplified overview of some of his most notable hacks and methods. Infiltrating DEC's ARC, 1979, at just 16, Kevin accessed Digital Equipment Corporation's network via social engineering. He acquired a dial-up modem number for DEC's RSDS/E system, called the ARC. Lacking a login, he called the system administrator, posing as a developer who forgot his password. Mitnick convinced the admin to create a new account for him. Just like that, he gained access, allowing his friends to download DEC's proprietary source code as a trophy. This incident highlights how trusting admins and insecure systems can lead to exploitation. Mitnick simply asked for access and received it. Phone phreaking and free calls. Mitnick began with phone phreaking, tinkering with telephone systems to make free calls and manipulate lines. In 1981, he hacked Pacific Bell's Cosmos system to divert phone lines and intercept calls. By manipulating phone switches, he accessed unlisted numbers and made long-distance calls without charges. He also cloned cell phone IDs, covertly taking valid cellular codes and programming them into different phones, allowing him to hide his identity and avoid call charges. Essentially, Mitnick became a ghost on the phone network, making untraceable, unbilled calls. Modem war dialing and default logins. During the pre-internet era, companies used dial-up modems for remote access. Mitnick and others utilized war dialing, automatically calling every number and arranged to find lines that answered with a computer tone. It resembled calling every home on a street to find one with a fax machine. After locating a modem line, hackers attempted default passwords, factory set logins like admin/admin, or easy guesses to gain entry. Mitnick famously employed this strategy to find entry points into various networks. War dialing often revealed backdoors into systems, especially those with weak or no passwords. This trick provided him access without needing to write any viruses. Packet sniffing. When inside a network, Mitnick could deploy a packet sniffer, a tool that silently monitors all data flowing through it. Imagine tapping a phone line to listen to every call. A sniffer captures usernames, passwords, and emails. Mitnick could discreetly gather login details as users accessed systems, enabling him to reuse those credentials. Importantly, sniffers do not alter data, they simply copy it. Utilizing packet sniffers, Mitnick could gather sensitive information, such as passwords and credit card numbers, giving him insider access without detection. Terminal spoofing. Fake logins. Mitnick exploited human trust with terminal spoofing. This technique involves creating a counterfeit login screen on a computer. For instance, while already in a system, a hacker could launch a program mimicking the normal login prompt. When an unsuspecting user arrived, they unknowingly entered their credentials, which the fake prompt recorded. After showing a login failed message, the user would eventually log in for real, completely unaware their information had been stolen. Mitnick excelled at such deceptions. By the time the real user logged in, he was already utilizing their password elsewhere. This simple con illustrates how targets inadvertently provided access to their systems. This tactic, among others, rendered Mitnick nearly unstoppable in the 1980s and early 1990s. The pursuit and capture of the Condor. In his later years, Kevin Mitnick's hacking evolved into a high-stakes chase with law enforcement, resembling a dramatic thriller. He became known as the Condor after a movie character, fully embracing the rogue persona. Here's the dramatic sprint that followed, targeting a security guru. On Christmas Day of 1994, Mitnick made a bold choice, attacking Tsutomu Shimomura, a respected cybersecurity expert. He infiltrated Shimomura's personal computer network remotely by exploiting a flaw. Mitnick stole specialized tools for security and cellular hacking from Shimomura's computer, marking a significant breach. This incident was no mere mistake. Shimomura was a leading authority in computer security. The audacity of the attack fueled Shimomura's personal resolve. He publicly shared details of the attack method online, signaling to Mitnick that he was aware of his actions. Mitnick, in his typical cheeky fashion, left taunting voice messages for Shimomura, mimicking a British accent, boasting, "My technique is the best," and threatening, "Me and my friends, we'll kill you." This was a personal challenge, and Shimomura decided to fight back. Cyber manhunt begins. Enraged, Shimomura teamed with the FBI to track Mitnick. Since 1992, Mitnick had eluded capture, continuously relocating to escape arrest. He was skilled at camouflaging himself, using cloned phones and various aliases, even referencing Houdini's real name, Eric Weiss, as an inside joke. Even while on a most wanted poster, he managed to stay hidden in plain sight, altering his appearance and resorting to tricks to confuse any potential surveillance. Tracking the wireless trail, Mitnick's weakness turned out to be his dependence on mobile phones and dial-up modems. Each time he accessed the internet, he left a faint trail. Shimomura and the FBI began scrutinizing login records and phone company data. A significant breakthrough occurred when Shimomura traced Mitnick's intrusion attempts back to an ISP in Raleigh, North Carolina. By collaborating with cellular providers, investigators identified that all the incoming connections were routed through a specific cell tower in Raleigh. Every dial-up call from Mitnick's connections was pinpointed to the same sector, implying he was nearby and using a mobile phone for access. This marked a crucial turning point, finally revealing Mitnick's location after years of stealth. Armed with this data and a court warrant, Shimomura and a specialized FBI team moved to Raleigh in February 1995. High-tech stakeout. Once in Raleigh, Shimomura employed his skills and equipment to further narrow down Mitnick's exact location. They collaborated with the cellular provider to monitor signals in real time. Mitnick usually accessed the internet late at night. At about 2 a.m. on February 15, a signal lit up, indicating Mitnick had logged onto the Netcom ISP using his cell phone. Agents utilized radio direction finding gear to pinpoint the source of the phone signal to a specific apartment complex. Picture an FBI van moving stealthily, an agent waving an antenna, carefully rotating it to capture the source of the hacker signal. By analyzing the phone data, they identified one apartment as the origin of the calls. The arrest, 2 a.m. takedown. In the early morning hours, FBI agents, accompanied by Shimomura, raided Mitnick's apartment. The elusive Condor was finally apprehended while typing at his computer in a modest Raleigh apartment. Agents confiscated over 20,000 stolen credit card numbers and numerous data files from his equipment, along with cell phones and hacking tools. After 2.5 years as a fugitive, the chase ended. At 31, Mitnick was handcuffed and shackled before being taken into custody. He soon appeared in a Raleigh courtroom, looking exhausted and disheveled, in stark contrast to the mysterious figure the media had portrayed. The arrest generated global headlines, marking the conclusion of a legendary pursuit achieved through classic police work mixed with modern signal tracking. As Shimomura recounted in his book Takedown, while technology may enable escape, it also simplifies apprehension. Media frenzy and legal impact. Mitnick's capture ignited a media uproar, sparking a public debate about hacking unlike any previously witnessed. In the mid-1990s, awareness of cybercrime was just beginning, and Kevin Mitnick became a central figure, for better or worse. Press. From hacker hero to electronic public enemy, the media depicted Mitnick in almost legendary terms. The day following his arrest, the New York Times featured the story on its front page, igniting numerous TV news segments. Law enforcement labeled him the cyberspace version of public enemy number 1, branding him as a hacker who could unleash global chaos with mere keystrokes. Sensational rumors circulated, with one extreme claim suggesting Mitnick could trigger a nuclear event by whistling codes into a payphone, a gross exaggeration fueled by fear and misunderstanding. To many, He appeared more threatening than a spy. He was dubbed an electronic terrorist in headlines concerning his high-profile breaches of companies like Motorola and Nokia. The notion of a lone hacker threatening corporate America stirred both fascination and fear among the public. Hacker community and Free Kevin, conversely, many in the tech and hacker community perceived Mitnick differently, more like a folk hero than a villain. They argued that, despite his numerous break-ins, he never exploited his access for personal gain. One friend described him as just a prankster who never intended to cause harm. Indeed, the motivation behind Mitnick's hacks often stemmed from thrill and challenge rather than financial motives, as another colleague observed. This perspective gave rise to the Free Kevin movement, a grassroots campaign of hackers and civil libertarians advocating against the perceived harshness of Mitnick's treatment. Notable figures, including Emmanuel Goldstein, editor of 2600 magazine, rallied for Mitnick. They sold Free Kevin merchandise and organized protests, brandishing bright yellow signs outside courthouses. In a show of solidarity, some even hacked websites, including the famous New York Times site, to share messages in Mitnick's defense. He became a symbol of the ongoing debate about the limits of authority in the digital domain. Legal fallout and reforms. Mitnick's case forced the legal system into unprecedented territory. He remained incarcerated without bail for almost 4.5 years prior to trial, an unusual situation justified by a judge's belief that Mitnick could start a nuclear holocaust by modem if granted phone access. He spent 8 months in solitary confinement due to fears he could transmit codes through phone lines from within prison. Such extreme measures raised significant concerns about due process and governmental overreach. In 1999, facing potentially severe sentences if convicted on all charges, Mitnick accepted a plea deal, admitting guilt to multiple counts of wire fraud and computer fraud, along with intercepting communications. Having already served time, he received an additional 46-month sentence, totaling nearly 5 years, plus a modest restitution fine. Crucially, upon release, he was prohibited from using computers or cell phones for 3 years, effectively disconnecting the most wanted hacker from the digital realm. Shifts in policy and perception. The Mitnick saga emerged as a catalyst for change. It exposed the necessity for clearer laws regarding cybercrime and how fear of hackers can lead to extreme responses. In 1996, while Mitnick remained incarcerated, the U.S. intensified the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, in part influenced by publicity surrounding his case. This situation sparked discussions about distinguishing malicious criminals from curious hackers. In the late 1990s, companies and government entities began to recognize that not all hackers intended harm. Some, like Mitnick after reform, could serve as allies in enhancing security. The Free Kevin movement and the surrounding media attention humanized hackers in public perception, paving the way for terms such as white hat hacker to gain prominence. As one analysis highlighted, before Mitnick, hacking was viewed solely as criminal. Afterward, awareness grew regarding ethical hackers' roles and the necessity of their involvement in defense strategies. His case also uncovered the deficiencies in law enforcement's technical capabilities at that time, leading to expanded funding and training for cybercrime units. In summary, Kevin Mitnick's pursuit and prosecution marked a pivotal moment in cybersecurity history, impacting legal frameworks, inspiring emerging security professionals, and alerting companies that cybersecurity was now a universal concern. Notable quotes and reactions. To provide additional context, here are some memorable quotes from Kevin Mitnick and those connected to his story. Kevin Mitnick, reflecting on his transformation: "I went to prison for my hacking. Now people hire me to do the same things I went to prison for, but in a legal and beneficial way." Deputy U.S. Marshal Kathy Cunningham, regarding Mitnick's motive: "The guy has a love of computers. He's just completely obsessed with it and his quest to hack. It's that one-upmanship, that drive for recognition." Troy Froman, a longtime friend: "He was just a prankster. He never meant any harm." Judge Mariana Falzer, Paraphrased during sentencing, Mitnick's computer tampering was unmatched in its sheer size and determination, warranting a strong message that hacking laws cannot be flouted without consequence. Mitnick's own words emphasize the human element in security. The human factor is truly security's weakest link. These quotes illustrate contrasting viewpoints. Mitnick's journey defines his evolution from outlaw to expert, law enforcement's relentless pursuit, and supporters' portrayal of him as a curious trickster rather than a villain, adding depth to his dual identity as both a notorious criminal and a talented folk hero. After prison, from black hat to white hat hacker, Kevin Mitnick's tale didn't conclude with his imprisonment. In a remarkable turn, the most wanted hacker transformed into a respected security consultant. After his release in January 2000, Mitnick began a new chapter as a white hat hacker, using his skills to protect rather than exploit. Reformed and rebooted, initially barred from computers and cell phones during his parole, Mitnick started with consulting and writing. Almost immediately, he began sharing his knowledge to help others avoid the security vulnerabilities he had once exploited. In 2002, still under restricted computer use, he co-authored The Art of Deception, unveiling how social engineering techniques can compromise even secure systems. This best-selling book shifted corporate focus toward the human aspects of security. Once fully free to use technology in 2003, Kevin launched Mitnick Security Consulting, his own firm. The former outlaw found himself advising Fortune 500 companies and government agencies on strengthening their defenses, a trajectory few could have foreseen, the fox not just guarding the henhouse, but getting paid to do so. Security rock star, Mitnick's notoriety became a brand in its own right. Establishing himself as one of the world's most sought-after public speakers on cybersecurity, he translated his thrilling hacking experiences into cautionary tales. Following his release, he spoke at elite hacker conferences like DEF CON, where prior attendees had worn free Kevin shirts, now welcoming him as a hero returning home. His presentations, often punctuated with humor and live demonstrations, showcased how he could, for instance, call a company and trick an employee into divulging a password within minutes. He also appeared at mainstream events, giving keynote speeches at corporate security summits and even doing a TEDx talk, bridging the divide between underground hacker culture and corporate environments. Companies invited Mitnick to conduct penetration tests, essentially asking him to hack their systems before malicious actors could. With a grin, Kevin remarked on the irony, "They used to arrest me for this, now they pay me for it." Clients and credentials. Over the following 2 decades, Mitnick cultivated a diverse clientele encompassing banks, tech firms, government agencies, and even the FBI, the same agency that previously pursued him. His team, dubbed the Global Ghost Team, boasted a remarkable 100% success rate in penetration tests by leveraging the very tactics that had once defined his notorious reputation. Mitnick emerged as a trusted consultant on cybersecurity, even testing security for major companies like Microsoft and IBM. This groundbreaking collaboration illustrated a pivotal shift. Businesses realized they could learn profoundly from someone who understood an attacker's mindset. Authorship and legacy. Mitnick authored several influential books. Following The Art of Deception, he released The Art of Intrusion, 2005, a compilation of true hacker stories, delving into how breaches were achieved alongside his analysis of failures. His most personal work, Ghost in the Wires, offered a gripping autobiographical glimpse into his life as the world's most wanted hacker. The book became a bestseller, providing an insider perspective on his evasion tactics and adventures. Later, he published The Art of Invisibility, 2017, sharing privacy tips and strategies for remaining anonymous online, a fitting subject for someone who successfully eluded authorities for years. Through these publications, Mitnick solidified his reputation as a cybersecurity authority. His arc transitioned from cautionary tale to guidance on safeguarding against threats akin to those he once posed. Mentor and celebrity hacker. After prison, Mitnick embraced mentorship and collaboration. He became Chief Hacking Officer of Nobi4, a security awareness training company, where he developed programs aimed at educating employees to avoid scams he once executed. He appeared on numerous television programs and documentaries, becoming the face of hacking expertise, receiving the kind of attention that had previously been negative. In an unforgettable live demonstration, Mitnick showed how he could bypass a bank's two-factor authentication through social engineering, all in real time, embodying the spirit of a magician revealing secrets. Instead of shying away from the spotlight, he used his fame to deliver important security messages. Mitnick frequently acknowledged his past mistakes in interviews and advocated for aspiring hackers to pursue ethical practices. His journey illustrated redemption, proving that even a so-called dangerous hacker could pivot toward positive contributions. By the 2020s, Mitnick was not just a former criminal, he was heralded as a legend in cybersecurity. Shortly before his untimely passing in mid-2023, he received a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award from the SANS Institute, recognizing his significant contributions to the field. Through his remarkable life story, Kevin Mitnick left a lasting impression. His experiences shaped societal views on hackers and helped enhance defenses against the very methods he once deployed. Visual storytelling suggestions. To make episode 2 visually captivating, consider the following dramatization ideas, illustrating the hacks. When exploring Mitnick's technical feats, utilize visuals to simplify the technology. For instance, during the Deck Arc hack description, present a split screen showing young Kevin on a 70s-era phone confidently contacting an oblivious admin. On the opposite side, depict the admin typing a new account for Mitnick, illustrating the social engineering that took place. For war dialing, show a vintage computer or modem dialing through phone numbers, complete with the distinctive modem sound, until it finds a line and displays access granted. Depict a retro telephone switchboard for phone phreaking, showing how phreakers manipulated lines. An animation could convey packet sniffing, illustrating data packets traveling across a network, with a character catching them like using a net. For terminal spoofing, film a close-up of a terminal where someone typed their credentials, then reveal the screen was Mitnick's fake login prompt, incorporating overlay text stating password captured. These visual elements ensure the audience easily grasps the concepts in an engaging manner. The chase sequence. The pursuit of Mitnick should unfold like a thrilling techno-drama. Use a map graphic to trace his journey across the U.S., moving through cities like Los Angeles, Seattle, Denver, and Raleigh. Display newspaper articles or FBI wanted posters featuring Mitnick's photo and Condor alias. Dramatically recreate Shimomura's hack, capturing his expression on Christmas as he sees strange messages on his screen. Show agents huddled over computer screens during collaborations, highlighting crucial clues like Raleigh, North Carolina. For cell phone triangulation, build suspense by showcasing an FBI van tracking a signal, culminating in the identification of Mitnick's hideout. The final raid could be reenacted, depicting agents storming through an apartment door, finding Mitnick at his computer. Incorporate a clock striking 2 a.m. to signify the raid timing. Dramatically portray the moment of arrest with reflections of the computer screen and Mitnick's glasses going black, symbolizing the end of his hacking era. Media and public reaction scenes. Capture the media frenzy by showcasing authentic news headlines and segments from 1995. Animate newspaper headlines appearing on screen, such as captured, computer terrorist Kevin Mitnick, or display a CNN-style clip reporting his arrest. Convey fear through dramatic sound bites from politicians discussing electronic Pearl Harbor threats. Transition to the hacker community's response, showing attendees at a hacker convention wearing Free Kevin shirts. Recreate protests, capturing people holding signs outside courthouses. If accessible, include the cover of the 2600 magazine declaring Free Kevin. Utilize a graphic representing the scales of justice tipping, symbolizing the debate between harsh punishment and public support, alongside a timeline highlighting key moments in Mitnick's case. Quotes and interview visuals. When presenting notable quotes, blend audio with visual text. For Mitnick's own quotes, consider a voiceover or actual audio clip as the text appears on screen in hacker-style format. For quotes from law enforcement, display FBI badges alongside texts to provide an official feel. Consider a split-screen format to showcase law enforcement perspectives, annotating key phrases. For the friend's quote about being just a prankster, reflect on a photo of a young Mitnick. Incorporate real interview snippets for authenticity. For the quote on the human factor being weakest, visualize a generic office worker as the text appears above them. Post-prison and legacy visualization, highlighting Mitnick's rehabilitation could evoke inspiration. Depict prison gates opening in 2000, representing his transition into the professional world. Incorporate photos of Mitnick at conferences, particularly during live demonstrations. Showcase the Mitnick Security Consulting logo or corporate imagery to represent his clients. Create fun visuals of him live hacking or demonstrating cybersecurity techniques. Display best-selling book covers dynamically, emphasizing his transformation. Include B-roll of his appearances on news outlets or speeches, showcasing his humor regarding security. Emphasize his journey with imagery of a black hat transitioning to a white hat, labeling him as a security consultant. To conclude, feature a joyous image of Mitnick holding a unique business card, symbolizing his constructive legacy. A text overlay could read, Kevin Mitnick, 1963 to 2023, from outlaw to advisor, a legend in cybersecurity, fading out for a poignant finish.